theme of this festival, the heart of the rose. We heard about the 9 hierarchies of angels earlier this morning, and now we're going to see how these 9 hierarchies brought creation into being through the sound of speech, through the cosmic word, first creating paradise from the periphery through the dynamic of a hexagram. When the Eurythmists move around a hexagram, they must move around the outside of the form, each time reaching a new starting point.
So in a moment when the curtain opens, just to give you a little bit of orientation, you will see 6 of my colleagues on a large circle representing the zodiac. And the person closest to you here at the front is in the zodiacal sign of Capricorn. Her counterpoint at the rear is in Cancer. And then, because we're only 6, unfortunately, rather than a full 12, we have every second zodiac sign in between. I hope you're with me on that. So we'll see the eurythmical gesture for that particular zodiac sign. Then we'll see how from that constellation of zodiac, Dr. Steiner indicated that a particular part of the logos sounds forth, a particular consonant, and you'll see that consonant being shown for you, and then the eurythmists will return it as a zodiacal gesture. Then there's a little procession when they move on to the next constellation in the zodiac. And that's repeated 3 or 4 times to give you something of an impression of the forces of these hierarchies working through from the cosmos. Then, after you've seen that, we'll follow straight on a more dynamic movement where the circle will contract into this hexagram, this 6-pointed star. Now, as you're all aware, a hexagram, a 6-pointed star, is made up of 2 interlocking triangles. We have one triangle with its point closest towards us and its base at the rear of the stage, and we can perhaps take that as an imaginative symbol of the cosmic forces streaming in and through this point at the front down towards us here on Earth. The second triangle is the other way round. It has its base at the front. So from here, our earthly forces can stream upwards and backwards to the point at the rear. So we have these 2 interlocking triangles. And you'll see the eurythmists move round these triangles, and in between, as Sylvia has just indicated, there is a movement around the periphery. This is the only way we can physically visit each point of a 6-pointed star if we have this circular transition movement in between. So just before I open the curtain, I just say one last time, from a visual artistic perspective, you get a much better impression if you're more central and further back. So if anyone who is at the sides or towards the front wishes to move, now will be the time to do it. Forces of the zodiac first, and this condensation into the hexagram.
after paradise, the fall. Rudolf Steiner explained how the fall was a literal fall from spirit into matter. Plato described how the world soul is nailed to the cross of the world body.
So, now you can see before you that my colleagues are already standing in the form of a cross. So they are once again in different parts of the zodiac. And the first cross that we're going to see is the cross of physical matter, of our densest substance. And so we will see on your left Aries, at the rear Cancer, on your right Libra, and at the front Capricorn. And in a second we will see once again the cosmic logos sounds that emanate from these four signs and how they sound forth. Now, as you can see, the cross has slightly transformed itself. They've all moved on one place. And in this cross comes to representation the slightly less denser forces, if you like, of our body of living forces, our etheric body. And all these mysterious processes were known to the alchemists of old. And the previous cross that we saw was known as illustrating the salt process. And now this one that you're about to see, the alchemical mercurial process. How can elements be combined? So here we see to your left the rear, Gemini, to the right at the back, Virgo, to the right at the front, Sagittarius, and to your left at the front, Pisces. And once again, the logos that sounds forth from these constellations. Now the cross has reformed itself for the third time, and here we have again a slight less dense, more airy form, the cross of our emotional psychological life, our starry life, that of the astral body. And again, if we look at the signs that are represented here, to the left at the rear, we have Taurus. To the right, back, Leo. Front right, Scorpio. And front left, Aquarius. And once again, sounds that emanate from these constellations.
At the incarnation of Christ in the human Jesus, the cosmic word, the Logos, brings the wide spaces of the periphery to enter the confines of fallen earth. This dynamic can be recreated as a lemniscate. Here we refer to a book that has recently come out, The Etheric by Ernst Marty, recently retranslated. Volume 2, The World of Formative Forces, Chapter 4, The Phenomenology of Formative Morphogenic Forces. And this is part of what Steiner refers to as the new science, all of this research. And Marty describes how the sun and stars above the horizon and the sun and stars below the horizon have a completely different effect on the now sense-perceptible world. The stars and planets above the horizon during the day work as shaping, form-creating forces. At evening and morning, when the stars and planets are on the horizon, they work as morphogenic forces of life. Their movements and harmonies of the spheres engender life and rhythm, create colour and sound. The same stars, when they are in darkness below the horizon, are substance-forming forces. They shape the interior matter that fills out and carries the external form. From the initially indefinite potential of the elements, stellar forces create specific substances, and so creation appears in matter.
So here we're seeking to try and imaginatively bring something of that content to visibility. So you'll see each of my 4 colleagues will start to move a lemniscate, so essentially a figure of 8. So my colleague on your left will begin, and she's going to do the first part of her lemniscate